Welcome back. Today we have 3 stories. Someone made it very clear they did not want your help. Someone decided the best way to show love was destruction. And someone answered a simple question honestly and got sent home early for it. Let us get into it. We have a family friend who decided at some point that our family is his emergency fund. He and his wife live nearby. 3 people in their household. We have 6. I have a chronic illness that costs me $45,000 a year out of pocket. None of that stops the mental math that apparently put us in the bracket of people who should be giving him money whenever he needed it. We don't do cash. That's our rule. We'll help in other ways. We've kept his kid for 6 weeks when they couldn't pay the power bill. 6 weeks. We've lent our car for almost a month. We've bought groceries. We've fed his family. We've taken his kid along on our family outings and paid his way. We have known these people for 3 years. 6 weeks. They kept this man's child for 6 weeks. Last year, his wife quit her retail manager job. Her plan was to cash out her retirement fund, $30,000, take a few months off, then go back to work. His job disappeared at the same time, and their income went from $900 a month to about $100. They spent that $30,000 eating out and buying things for themselves. By the time it was gone, they were hinting for cash. We still don't do cash. Recently, I volunteer at a mobile food pantry. One night, they had a surplus of wild-caught premium fish nuggets and sent a box home with me, 10 pounds. These retail for over $100 in stores. I looked it up on my way home, excited. I thought immediately of them. They'd told me just last week that their benefits only cover half the month. This was exactly what they needed. Real food, high quality, completely free. I called before I even pulled into my driveway. The answer was no. The kid, who is 13 years old, prefers fish sticks. They were going to pass. I want to be clear that this child is not 3. He is a teenager. He is capable of eating a fish nugget. My husband pointed out the logic later. We'd be eating premium fish all week, which means we'd spend less on groceries, which means there'd be cash left over, which is what he'd be asking for next week anyway. He'll ask, I'm sure of it, and we'll say no again. But I did eat very well that week. He saved for months to buy a new laptop. The old one was dying. This one was going to handle everything. His writing, the projects he'd been putting off, his gaming setup. Along with it, he bought a 2-terabyte external hard drive to back up years of files, his writing, voice recordings he'd kept from personal milestones, old photos of his mother who passed away, everything he hadn't been able to properly archive before. Things that existed in exactly one place. He lives with his girlfriend. They've been together for years, since they were both young. He pays most of the bills. She works part-time. The apartment is his. He reads constantly, always has. Fantasy especially. He found it as a kid and never stopped. It's how he unwinds. He'd recently started a game themed around a fantasy series he's loved for years, building out the world, setting up the families, spending hours on the setup not because it was productive, but because it made him happy. That's what hobbies are for. She had recently become very intense in her views about fiction. Fantasy was degenerate. Violence in stories, even clearly fictional ones, was morally corrupt. Adults who read fiction were stunted. She told him she didn't want him engaging with it anymore. He said his hobbies weren't hurting anyone. She said that didn't matter. They argued. He didn't stop reading. He didn't stop playing games. He came home one day and his laptop was on the floor. The screen was shattered. The external hard drive had a dent in it. She said she did it for him. She believes that. She said she refused to live somewhere that platforms degeneracy, and sometimes you have to take action for the people you love. She said he'd thank her one day when he wasn't so attached to fantasy garbage. He didn't scream. He told her to pack her things and leave. Just that. She yelled. She said he was choosing made-up characters over a decade of their relationship. She said she had supported him through difficult years and that he owed her patience. She reminded him, not for the first time during an argument, that she'd known him before he was the person he is now, as if that was leverage. He asked her to leave. She went to stay somewhere else. The text came later. Couples work through disagreements together. He was proving a point about being too attached to fiction. They could fix this. He looked at his broken laptop. His mother's photos were on that drive. Couples do work through disagreements. Just usually not the kind that involves smashing someone's property to make a point about their reading choices. He has not responded to the texts. Her mother died when she was young. Before she passed, her mother made arrangements. Her best friend Katie would take custody. Everything was set up deliberately, carefully. Her mother had time to plan and she used it. When the time came, Katie took her in. Her biological uncle Nick fought the custody arrangement. He believed family should stay with family. He didn't win. Katie adopted her, and that was that. Nick wanted custody. He lost. He is not over it. She spends 1 weekend a month with Nick's family, not court-ordered. Just something Katie encouraged so she could stay connected to her mother's side. Nick is a police officer. His wife teaches preschool. They homeschool their 3 kids at home, mostly for reasons related to their beliefs. 2 to 3 hours of school a day, no extracurriculars, no competitions. Church youth group. They get spending money whenever they ask for it. She goes to private school. Her school is academically ahead of the local public schools, which are already among the best in the region. She does competitive cheerleading, she does competitive dance, she plays piano, she earns her allowance by working, and Katie matches whatever she makes at the end of each month. Her school requires a 3.0 GPA to participate in any extracurricular activity. She maintains it. Every time she visits Nick's house, there is a version of the same conversation. He talks about how she never has free time. How Katie's way of parenting is too rigid, too demanding, not letting kids be kids. How his kids actually get to enjoy childhood. He's been doing this for years. Last weekend, he said it directly. Wouldn't it be nice, he asked, to slow down? To be a kid the way his kids are? She said she likes her life the way it is. She said she wouldn't want to be like his kids. He got pissed. Now, here is some additional information that came out in this conversation. His 10-year-old cannot multiply single-digit numbers. The 10-year-old could not multiply single-digit numbers. Let that sit. His 14-year-old is technically a grade level above her, but cannot solve basic linear equations. These children have no hobbies outside of church activities. Every visit to Nick's house follows the same pattern: mall, movies, fast food. That's the full menu. Nick called Katie and told her to pick the girl up early. He said she was a spoiled, entitled brat who thought she was better than his kids. Katie, to her credit, agreed that she'd gone a bit far, that the right move was to smile and nod, that she'd said too much. But here's the thing about smiling and nodding. It only works as advice if the person offering it doesn't also quietly agree with every word you said. Katie knows the situation. She arranged the visits herself. She knows exactly what kind of education Nick's kids are receiving. She knows her daughter, the one she chose and raised and invested in, is not going to sit quietly while a man who lost a custody battle uses her as a weapon against the life her mother built for her. She feels a little bad. Maybe she could have been gentler. But she didn't say anything that wasn't true. And next month, Nick's 10-year-old still won't know how to multiply. And that is 3. If any of these hit close to home, the comment section is open. Like and subscribe if you want more where that came from. We will see you next time.